Okay, we've got the, this is demo video number 2 for the new scheduling and accounting system for Southern and Sovereign Pest Control. This one, the topic is going to be setting ICPC appointments. This video is specifically for the marketing department. The topics that we're going to cover, we're going to review what we did in a previous video. We're going to create a Navision account from a contact. And simultaneously, when that happens, the system creates a service order, which is the actual, almost like an electronic appointment. So that's what we're going to use to set the appointment, and then it actually becomes the accounting document that will end up becoming an invoice when we post it to their accounts. We're going to work with the service order, and as part of that, we're going to review the service item template, which is really a list of our services that the marketing department will choose from when setting the appointment. We'll go through some of the required fields that have to be filled in on the service item. Again, once you see it, you'll understand what these are. Then we'll go over things like prices, hours for the appointment, payment terms, and then we'll actually schedule the appointment. And we're also going to briefly look at some things on the service order, which I know the marketing department is used to using, like the next contact date field if we want to contact the customer in the future, and also some of the note fields that are available to help us record information. We're only going to briefly touch on these though, because there'll be a separate video dedicated to note fields. Okay, so now we're going to just move on and get into the test system. And the first thing we're going to do is, again, this is review, but we're going to go in and we're going to create a customer, a Navision account from someone who's a contact, someone who is on the new homeowner list. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go to the contact cube and click here. And let's simulate a prospective customer calling in, and they call in and say, "Hi, I am at 4113 Camden Street." So we're going to click on a customer account, or a contact account, I should say. And then we're going to go to our Navigate Contact Customer button to see if they're in, which database they're in, the contact database or our current customer database. Okay, so here again, the address, they call and say, "Hi, I'm at 4113 Camden Street." And we click Find. Okay, and we can see, okay, here that they are on our contact database. So we're going to open them up. We click Contact, then we click here, these 3 dots to the right of the record, or their actual contact number, and that'll open their contact card. So we can see the name, Stephen Renzi at 4113 Camden Drive. And we can see the import date was August 1st, and it's on the non-published numbered list. So one of the things we'd want to do is we would want to get their phone number. So we'll put in a phone number for this person. And we'd also want to get their email address. So I'm going to put the email address in here. Okay, and then we'd want to record the contact date, the date that they've called in. And I'm doing this video on Saturday, August 29th, so I'll use this date. And contact type, we'll say it was an inbound call. And I'm not going to fill in the best time to call or best place. We'll do that at a later time. But after this is done, what we want to do is we want to create an actual customer account, Navision account number, put them in the same database with our current customers, because that way we'll be able to create a service order and set an appointment. So I'm going to click here, right here, this button that says customer. It's got this little purple, it almost looks like a person. So I click here, and it has a message. Do you want to create the contact as a customer using a customer template? The answer is yes. Then we hit OK. Okay, and it creates the service order. Okay. Now again, one thing to keep in mind, I want to point out, their actual customer card can be found here. I'm clicking right here. this link here, this will get us to their customer card, which has all the permanent fields as far as name, addresses, phone numbers, contact information, email, note fields. But what we're going to set the appointment from is here. This is the service order. Notice here we have a service order number. The service order number all right, and service order shows the address fields and the email fields and other fields like their areas and sub areas and what type of structure that are on the customer card. So you can see it's obvious which account that you're working with. But then the service order also has tabs. As I scroll down here, it has the service item lines. This is the area where you're going to select the actual services that we're going to schedule. Then it has this area here, service line details, which will give us total charge information, where we put in the payment information and payment terms. So it basically will take a summary of the total payment, it'll take the individual dollar amounts for each service, total them here, and allow us to create payment terms and set up a down payment. Also have here, we have close that one out. This application tab where we will record chemical information after the appointment is run. And then we also have this payment tab here where we can collect a credit card payment directly on their account, which is nice. It's much better than our current system where we have to go to the First Data website, and it's much better. It's much more efficient because everything is right here on the customer card. And then we also have this renewal info tab here, which once they go under contract will show all their contract information. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to go and select the service item template, which you see here, this line. I'm clicking on this command here for line, and then we go to the service item template. This actually has the service items that we're going to select to schedule an appointment. So let's say this customer says they want a 1-year termite and pest plan. I'm going to select that from the list here. You see 1-year termite and pest plan. So I click on that, and that appears right here. Notice here, this total service charge is now $356, which matches the price for the termite and pest plan. I have the option, if we wanted to give it to them at a different price, let's say for some reason it was going to be $346, we could edit that here, and then it changes here. I'm going to change it back to $356. Okay. As we scroll over to the right, you'll see fields for target pest. So let's say they're having a problem with ants. You could fill that in there. We have a field for service item rep. This is where the person who is scheduling this appointment, who will get credit for the commissions, they will select themselves here, so we can track this for payroll purposes. I'm going to say it was me, B. McMichael, who will get credit for this. And we also have this field here, source, which allows us to track the advertising source. So let's say this came from the new homeowner list, we would select that. So it's very important that these fields here are selected, so we can, one, for target pests, so we know with the pest that we're going out and treating for, and then we need to fill out this, who gets credit for commissions. Now, you need to do it for each individual service item. For example, let's say I was also going to add a mosquito to this. So I'm selecting mosquito service. I hit the refresh key. Notice now that the total price has changed to $455. So it's adding the $356 and the $455. Notice too here the number of hours. it adds, each appointment service item is, the system says it's going to take 1 hour for each, and so it adds them together. But we will have the ability to go and override that in case we're going to do it in a different amount of time. But it's important, again, now that we've got 2 items here, there could be a scenario where it may be a different service, a different rep who sells or schedules the second service, like maybe Ashley did the second one. So that's why we record each one of these separately. Okay, so that's what we've done. So just a little bit of review. We go to the service line template, and that's really our service item list where we go and select the services that we're going to schedule. If we were going to change the price of the mosquito, for example, let's say we were going to make it $104. Whoops. Here, I could change that here. Notice the price went from $455 to $460 here. So the system is doing the math for us as far as computing a total charge. We also have a field here for coupon amount. Let's say this person was using a $20 Facebook coupon. We can put that in here, and we go and select Facebook coupon. And maybe there's some type of code that comes with the coupon. We could put that here. So notice now what we have, it's saying the net service charge is $440, which is the $460 less $20 gets us to $440. So, and let's assume, just make it simple for this video, that the customer is going to pay $200 down. Now you see this net service amount here, which means we're going to bill them for the $240. Now let's say that's going to be 7 installments. So 7 installments of $34.29. So it's pretty simple. I mean, you go, and again, you go to the service item template. You select the services that we're going to perform. You can edit the price information here. Target pest, service item rep, again, is for commission purposes. And then for advertising purposes, we know the source because we want to know, where we're getting our sales from. So at this point in time, you would be ready to set the appointment. So you go to the same menu here for line, and you select the very top one, resource allocations. And you can see this customer is in area 5, and we don't have very many customers in that area, so we just have Luis in this area for next week. So I'm going to select Luis to run this appointment on Monday at 2 o'clock. So all you would do is you select the appointment time here, and we've got this button here for auto allocate hours. Press this button, and you see that a 1 fills in here for the 2 o'clock time and the 3 o'clock time because this is a 2-hour appointment. You do that, you hit OK. Then you kind of scroll up to the top of the service order and you hit refresh. And now you can see here on the service order that Luis is scheduled for 2 o'clock for these services here. Now from here too, we can see what the appointment ticket would look like for the technician. And that's right here. I'm clicking on service order detail, which is just another name for the appointment ticket. And you can see this is what the technician is going to see. He's going to see we're doing a 1-year termite pest, mosquito service. It's got them broken down individually with target pests. We should put a target pest for the mosquito. And then it's got the total charge information with the coupon, voucher code, net amount, then the amount that the technician should collect, the net amount charged, and then installments. We have a note field here called technician notes, and there will be a separate video for the different note fields, but I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate this one now. This note field is specifically for the technician for this service. So you could put something in like customer suspects swarmers in bathroom, something like that. Put that there. Now go to the service order or the appointment ticket. Now you can see that technician note is there. so you can give specific instructions for the technician. Notice too, when you log in via remote desktop, that it knows how you're logging in. So I'm logged in as administrator, so it's assigning the service order to me as administrator. If I had logged in under A. Carroll for Ashley or B. McMichael for myself, it would say S-Pesh/B. McMichael, and then it also knows which department I'm in. So the system, when you create a service order, it records who is actually creating it. So again, we've just created an IC to run for, again, 2 o'clock on Monday, or an ICPC. I know one thing that the marketing department, I'm sure, is big on is notes. We do have some note fields. The best one to use is here on the customer card. So I'm clicking on the customer card. I'm going off the service order, and I'm going to click on this note field here, kind of in the top middle of the screen. And you can click here to create a note. And hit save. And then this note is permanent for this account. And there's quite a bit of space to create note. You can create as many as you want, and at date time stamps them. So every time you go in and click note, it would be here. Let's create a second one so you can see. Hit save. Now you can see there's 2. So each time you click on notes, you can see the previous notes for this account. Okay. Now I'm going to go, so again, now this appointment's ready to be run. So that's pretty simple to set, the IC for a customer. But we're going to do one more, just so everybody can see, the process again. And I'm going to select this time I'm going to go into our current customer database, and I'm going to pull up a customer account that we created in an earlier video. So I'm in the address field here, and so I'm going to be able to search by address by hitting go to. So I put in go to, and I'm going to do 3612 Danville Road, and hit go to next. And this account comes up. This is one that we just created. And if you notice here on the right, here it says orders. That means there's one open service order for this customer. So when we created their new customer account in the earlier video, we created this service order. So here it's appearing on the list. I hit edit, and it opens the service order. This one is an MC1. So we're going to go through the same process of creating an IC appointment. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to line, service item template. And with this one, we're going to do a 1-year termite service plan. I hit OK. Notice here it sits on the service item line. So we selected this service. For the service line details, it's saying the total charge is $133. Let's also add a mosquito to this one just so we can get used to using the service item template. So let's see here. Actually, I'm going to set this one with the daily deal. Let's say they called in from a daily deal. So I'm going to go select daily deal mosquito, and let's say that's $149. So now I can see the total charge is $182. So one thing we would do is we'd go and put in, say, the target pest of mosquito. Then we'd put the service item rep. I'll do it as myself. And then we'd want to put the advertising source in for these 2 sales. And we'll say they both came from the daily deal. Okay. Now, one thing we're going to do with the daily deal is we're going to put the amount of the daily deal in the coupon field, because we don't want to send the customer a bill. So we're basically just discounting the amount of the daily deal. So let's say this was Groupon, and again, select Groupon, and let's put in a number. And let's say the customer is going to pay $40 down, and it's going to be 3 installments. Notice here again that the system is saying it's adding up the hours for each service item, but let's say we know we can do this in 1 hour. So we're going to go to this field here, hour for allocation, and change this to a 1. Hit refresh. Now the hours for this appointment becomes 1 hour. So before you schedule the appointment, the system is going to look at this hour field here, hours, the one that's highlighted in blue. Okay. All right, and remember we talked about the actual service ticket or appointment ticket, what that looks like. I'm going to click on that here. So this is what the technician will see. See the total charge with the coupon, which is the daily deal amount, net charge, customer down payment, the amount the customer is supposed to pay at time of service, and the number of installments. Again, we could put a technician specific note here. It could be anything, could be something like customer will answer side door of house, something like that, something that the technician would need to know. And again, clicking on the service order again, or the appointment ticket, there that note field is. So now we're going to go schedule the appointment. So it's line, service item template. I'm sorry, that's wrong. It's line, resource allocations, which takes us to the schedule. Now you can see we've got Dave in this area and also Roy on Monday. And let's say we're going to go in and schedule it for Roy at say 1 o'clock. Again, select the time and then I hit auto allocate hours. I hit OK, refresh. Now we can see that the time is scheduled for Roy. Whenever this appointment time is scheduled, when you hit the auto allocate, if there is an email address field filled in, the customer will actually receive an email confirmation of these services. One thing too to show you, and this will be covered more in depth in a later video, we do have a field on the service order for next contact date. If this were a situation where the customer did not, and actually we'll simulate that with a different customer record. So I'm back here on the customer card, and let's say we're going to pull up a different account. Let's say we're pulling up 26 William Street. And again, we've noticed once we pulled up, we see here to the right, we've got a service order created. And we hit edit to open it up. And let's say for this one that the customer is interested in a combination policy. So I'm going to the service item template and I'm selecting the 1-year termite and pest. So that's sitting there, but let's say the customer says, you know what, I'm under contract with another company. It expires in November. Can you call me back then? We have this field here for next contact date. So let's say we put in here to call back on November 2nd. And then we've got this action required field, which we'll talk about later, but could say call at next contact date. And I think we've got something here for under contract with competitor. Maybe we don't. Maybe it's here. Yeah, in this status 2 field here, we got under contract with competitor. So you can put in here to call it next contact date, and then you could also put a note here in general notes. Or you could go to their customer card like we talked about a few minutes ago. and maybe put a more specific note in here about being under contract with competitor. Something like that. But you'll have the ability, and we'll talk about this in a later video, where the marketing rep who creates this service order will be able to retrieve these service orders by the next contact date and these action required fields to know exactly, what to do with this service order. So anyway, that's we're going to conclude this video here. Again, this was meant to be, we'll go back to the presentation, just a simple kind of review of how to schedule appointments or IC appointments in the new system.